Hi, this is our team multimedia presentation on superheroes and their ideologies.
Question. So what is our question? Our question is, what effect do superheroes have on society?
Ha! What's our answer? Superheroes and their ideologies have an overall positive effect on society and the readers that read the comic books.
So Superman's idea, one of the most important ideologies of Superman is justice over personal gain. And this is shown in an article written by Dr. Anton Kosovic of Flinders University when he states that Superman sacrifices personal happiness with Lois Lane for the betterment of his community. This ideology is shown throughout the comics, and in another article written by Dr. Edward Yonkins, he states that with the great sense of self-duty over personal happiness, a person is virtuous. This overall affects society in a positive way because it creates a society that values justice over personal gain.
The Batman. His ideology can be basically summed up as him trying to be the better person. Him not trying to fall to depths of depravity that his enemies, the villains, have. One way he does this is by vowing not to kill, which is in sharp contrast to his enemies. In the show from the 60s, this ideology is especially shown by him donating vast sums of money to several charitable organizations, including the Gotham State Penitentiary. He instills compassion into others, particularly Robin. One instance of this was in the show when Batman and Robin had a bomb to dispose of. Robin just wanted to throw it into a bar and let the drunks deal with it. However, Batman stopped him from it and told him that even though they were riff-raff, they were still people and they couldn't do that because that would make them the same as their enemies. So they were able to dispose of it. This connects to our answer because instilling compassion into society just makes it better and helps us all.
Our next superhero and his ideology is Spider-Man. Spider-Man, ever since his appearance in Amazing Fantasy issue number 15, has spouted his ideology or catchphrase that many of us know today from many of the movies and many of the popular TV shows / cartoon animation spin-offs. And that would be, with great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. This can be simplified into, those with power should use it justly. This has had a great effect on our society. The readers that have grown up reading Spider-Man comics have seen this in almost every major issue and have seen the effect that this has. The readers that have grown up are now, of course, grown up with this ideology instilled in their head. With their ideology instilled in their head. And this causes them to grow up learning how, when you come into power, not to abuse that power and to use it justly. A major example of this can actually be pointed to our former president, Barack Obama. Barack Obama, himself stated that he used to love the Spider-Man comics when he was a kid. One can infer that because of these comics, that he had the ideology that with great power comes great responsibility instilled in him from a very young age. This caused him to, or hopefully, this would have caused him to use this ideology in his everyday life as the President of the United States and be able to use the power to benefit the society of America and its people.
Women superheroes are role models for young men and women of all genders and obviously all races and ages. In the 60s, Wonder Woman was a huge persona in comic books, and it helped push the women's rights movement. As a result of this, people started doing things that maybe they're not entirely supposed to do. So women weren't supposed to be superheroes because men were, for the majority of the time, the superheroes. So as of now, in future trends as well. More races, ages, genders, and sexualities are being portrayed in comics and major movies.
Alright, so given that superhero comics aren't real, how could they possibly have an effect on society?
Although superheroes are not real, they still affect the readers that read about their ideologies, and in turn, that affects the readers who are actually part of society, and it results to a betterment of society.
So, are there any negative side effects to these superhero ideologies?
Well, of course, with any side of an ideology, there are positives and negatives. Overall, the positive effects of their ideologies outweigh their negatives. Their negatives can mostly only be seen when there are fanatics or people that take the law into their own hands or grab this ideology and blow it out of proportion. With moderation, most of these ideologies, if not all of them, that we have presented here, benefit society in a positive way.
How do superheroes negatively affect specific time periods?
Also in the 60s, Wonder Woman was a huge character, but they eventually got a new writer, and he removed women as superheroes almost as a whole, and there were majority men, and it was very misogynistic, and it negatively affected the women's rights movement as well as the civil rights movement. But now, in the future, there, as a result of women and gender being portrayed in comic books now, there's way more equality in the world because of it.
Much more diversity. And here are sources.